Nope, you didn't read that wrong. That title does say MLB The Show 19. That's the first time I think I've ever really typed out MLB The Show 19. That's kind of crazy to think about. What's up, guys? Today we are going to be doing an MLB The Show 19 wish list video. We are going to be talking about things that we want to see in MLB The Show 19, things that could be better from 18, and, you know, just kind of get an idea of what we want to see in the game next year. So I would say about 2 months ago at this point, I've really been slacking on this video because I wanted to kind of wait till we saw some more content throughout the later half of the summer, and we're at that point now. But I sent out a poll, or not really a poll, but like a questionnaire earlier in the summer asking, what do you guys want to see in Diamond Dynasty in terms of content that you think would make it better for MLB The Show 19? So I took some of your guys' opinions into consideration as well as some of my own, and I developed kind of a little wish list, so let's go ahead and get into it. Couple things before we start. Number one, this is only about Diamond Dynasty. This is not about Road to the Show or franchise. I'm only going to focus on DD because I am a Diamond Dynasty centric channel, and I don't really know enough about the other game modes to know what would make it better. What, you know, like, that's not really my area of expertise, but I have a feeling I know Diamond Dynasty pretty well. Number two, this is only going to be about content. None of this is going to be about gameplay. That's a whole other video, but I'm not going to be talking about fielding issues or the hitting engine or anything like that. Just going to be talking about content like programs and rewards and immortals and all that type of stuff. And number three, down in the comments, let me know if there's anything I didn't talk about in this video that you guys think you want to see for Diamond Dynasty next year that you think could have made a wish list. Maybe we can make a part 2 to this at some point, going over what you guys said and adding on to this even more, because I have a feeling San Diego Studios is probably going to see this video, so I want to just give them the most community input as possible. So as we get into this wish list, I don't want you guys to think that I am trashing the game. That's not the case. I wouldn't still be playing the game if I wasn't having any fun on it. Of course I still like playing the game, and of course I still like unlocking cards and completing programs and stuff. There's just a set of critiques that I have that I think could make the game better next year, and I think that's fair enough to go ahead and point out here. So let's go. Alright, number one for the Diamond Dynasty wish list. This is a feature that everybody has said that they want, and it's a feature that they have publicly acknowledged they know we want, and that is multiple lineups. Right now, you really only have one lineup. You have your just regular My Squad tab of the Diamond Dynasty screen. Yeah, if you go into Battle Royale, you can have a Battle Royale lineup, and if you go into the events, you can have an event lineup. Sure, that's, I guess, multiple lineups, but that's not really what we mean. What we mean by that is this is our regular team, but we have to change out this team every time we want to do something different on the game. Like this right here, this is not my ranked seasons team. If I wanted to go to my ranked season squad, I would have to go and change out every single position to make it fit the actual ranked seasons team that I want to field. But let's say I jump into a ranked seasons game and either I lose or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't really want to play any more ranked seasons right now. I want to go grind against the CPU and get some more players. Well, then I would have to go into the squad screen and I have to change out all the guys I just put in and have to put in all the new grinding guys. If we had the option to have just multiple saved lineups, that would make everybody's life so much easier. It would take away so much of the tediousness. I don't even know if that's a word, but it would be very less tedious than having to change out our players every single time we want to do something. If you just give us the option to keep our ranked seasons team the way we want it, and then we have our grinding lineup that we change all the time, once we finish grinding something, we can just put that player on the regular ranked seasons lineup. Like, once I finish getting everything for Mike Schmidt, I'll have Chipper Jones. I can just put Chipper Jones in that lineup and then keep my grinding lineup exactly the same. Give us multiple lineups, give us the option to just, you know, switch back and forth between ranked seasons, grinding, play versus friends. I don't know, you could have, you don't even need to have like 5, you could have like 2 or 3 and people would be okay with that. I just think that's a pretty important feature, and I think a lot of people would be okay with that and very happy with that. So I think multiple lineups is a very strong addition that would help MLB The Show 19. Number 2, this one is something that I have been talking about for most of this year because of the insane mission grinding. Please let us pick our starting pitchers in play versus CPU games. I mean, look at this, dude. I have Bob Gibson as my ace right here, and that's because if I go to the programs and I go to the Bob Gibson Immortal program, the mission right here is I have to get 274 strikeouts with rookie or breakout legend Bob Gibson. fine, you know, I get Bob Gibson, I get some strikeouts with him, they add into the program. The problem is, I can't guarantee that I am going to get Bob Gibson in the game every single time. Now, I know, oh, just pinch hit for him in the first inning and you go and he'll pitch with no energy. We shouldn't have to even do that. If you're going to give us a mission that involves us getting 274 strikeouts, you gotta let me just pick and choose when I want to use him. Like when I was doing the Babe Ruth grind, there were times where I was going like 10 games in a row of trying to just land on Babe Ruth as the starting pitcher, and I never got him. It was the most annoying thing I've ever done in MLB The Show, honestly. Just let us pick our starting pitchers. It's against the computer. It shouldn't matter if it's a like if you want to add a stamina feature, fine, but it's against the computer. It doesn't need to be random. There's a difference between that and then having a mission for a position player. Like I have this Ken Griffey Jr. program done, but right here we could even do the Immortal mission. Tally 3 home runs and 6 RBIs with Immortal Ken Griffey Jr. in the same Diamond Dynasty game. That's great because I can put Griffey in and I know 100% I'm guaranteed to use him in that game. If I need a 1-game mission done with Bob Gibson or I need all those strikeouts, I only have a 20% chance of actually using him in that game. Please just let us pick our starting pitchers if you're going to make grinding somewhat similar to the way it is this year. It's not right to have us have random selection and then have all these missions for starting pitchers for that individual card. Just let us pick. Okay, number 3. This one's also kind of going with like number 1 when it was talking about multiple lineups. How about adding a filter section in the squad screen? So right here, let's say I have a mission where I can only use hardware pitchers. Well, now I got to go scroll through and find them. All right, well, I got Jake Arrieta. I'll throw him in there. I got Felix Hernandez. I'll throw him in there. And I have to scroll through my entire thing and check every single card to see what hardware pitchers I have. And so far, I've only seen 2. There we go. We got Bartolo Colon. What if it could just be something like the community market where I could just filter starting pitchers, hardware, boom. I see 3 of them right here. If you could just make it something like that in the actual squad screen, that would mean even less time of people just building their teams and more time of actually playing the game, which is what we want to do. So I think that that would be a very strong addition. It would help people, get their lineups set easier and quicker, and I think it's a good move to do. That's more of a small one. I don't think that's why I didn't put it as like number 1 or anything, but that's just, I think it's something that people would be very happy with, and I think it's something people would like. Okay, as Frisk would say, number 4. This is something that I really want to see, and that is kind of like better roadmaps of the cards. I don't really know how to describe this one in terms of like a title for it, but let me just explain to you what I mean. So sometimes I'll be streaming or sometimes I'll be making a video, and somebody will see a card, like for example this 87 Sean Green. They'll see this card and be like, dude, how do you get that Sean Green card? Well, they'll be scrolling through their programs and they'll be like, all right, well, I don't see anywhere to get this Sean Green anywhere. I don't know where to get this card. This is strange. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. There's nothing that tells you how to get the card on the card, when in reality you have to go to the ticket counter and you're gonna find the Sean Green in here. But the thing is, the ticket counter cards rotate, so you can't even see what all the ticket counter cards are. Like how would you have any idea where this Sean Green would come from if it wasn't available right now on the ticket counter and you didn't have any other means to find out? In my opinion, there should be something on the card that tells you where to get it. So if you would just click on Sean Green's player card, obviously you can see the attributes right here. You can see what he looks like in terms of actual gameplay. And then if you hit R1, you can see your stats. Then you can see more stats and marketplace trends, quirks, Twitter, all this stuff. We can get rid of the Twitter tab. We really don't need the Twitter tab, honestly. Nobody ever looks at it. It's kind of pointless. Replace this with something that shows how to unlock this card, or either like what missions this card is tied to, or something like that. Give people an opportunity to see on the card itself how they can unlock it. Like if we didn't have this Twitter tab and right here it just said this card is unlocked in the ticket counter, I'd be like, okay, he's not in there at the moment, but once the refresh of the ticket counter comes in a couple hours, he might be in there and then I can go snag him there. Or let's just take another random card, for example, Jacob deGrom, 88 overall diamond live series player. Most people are probably going to know where to get the live series player, but if you just go over to this tab, you would take out Twitter, it could just say available in packs or available on the market. Boom, that's it. And you could also have something that says tied to the Mets collector program. you need to collect this card in order to finish that collection. Some cards are going to be more obvious on how to unlock than others, of course, but you know, there's going to be cards that people are going to have questions on how to get. Like everybody asks me how to get this Diamond Nelson Cruz, and I always have to say, oh, it's the Rangers collection. They, you know, obviously you can, you know, take initiative and try and figure it out for yourself. If you just go to the collect tab, you can, you know, you can find it over here somewhere, but if you just put it on the card, that just takes away that much more work from the player, and it just makes the process even more streamlined. I think that'd be a fun feature to add in the game. To be honest, I'd rather just see them get rid of the Twitter tab and put something else in there. Just that Twitter tab is so useless. Okay, so I have one more point that kind of is going to take up the rest of the video. It's going to be more of like a blanket statement, but before I get into that, I just want to acknowledge one thing that a lot of people have been asking for years now, and that's create a stadium in Diamond Dynasty. I do think that we will see create a stadium at some point. I doubt it'll be next year, but it's just like, it's such a big feature to add into the game that only having the yearly cycle, I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull it off in time. I think they want to do it right if they're gonna do it at all. So I don't know when Create a Stadium is gonna come, but they have acknowledged that we want to see it. They know that it's a community feature that people are into. So I think at some point we'll get it. I doubt it'll be next year, but I just kind of wanted to, you know, acknowledge that point as something that a lot of people brought up to me, and you know, just wanted to bring it up here. Okay, the last point that I have, and this is the biggest one of the entire thing, this is something that they did well in 17, and then 18 hasn't been nearly as good in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people that I see on Twitter and in my streams and comments and stuff. I don't really know how to title this, but I'm just gonna say a blanket statement: better rewards, or a rework of the rewards. Let me explain. MLB The Show the past couple years has preached that they really want there to be a debate at every single position of who is the best player at that position. They really hammered that home in 17. They really pushed that, and there were players in 17 at positions that you could literally debate who's better here. Like shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, Cal Ripken Jr. There were other guys you could put at shortstop too, Ernie Banks. Third base, there was that Donaldson. There was, you could even play Arenado. Like there was a lot of different options in MLB The Show 17 that, you know, kind of made it hard to decide which player to play over this guy, and it caused a lot of variety in lineups, which is good. And in this year's game, it seemed like they went away from that, because if you just go to your program screen, boom, right here, the first thing you land on, this row of players, these are the best players in the game. No debate. Like, that's why they are immortals. They're the best in the game at their position from attributes. There are some where people think like, oh, maybe people won't like Cal Ripken Jr. They might use Machado or Ernie Banks over him. Sure. Or there's some for like second base. Some people will put their creative player over Jackie Robinson, or some people might put Gary Sanchez over Mike Piazza, which is something that I don't think SCS really intended for, but that's just kind of the way the hitting engine worked this year. But the point is, they highlight right here who the absolute best players in the game are, and it kind of causes a dead space, honestly. Now, I know not everybody in the world gets these immortal cards. Some people might not even get any immortals because of the exchange prices. Obviously, the exchanges are a big deal in the community. Some people absolutely hate the fact that the souvenirs are in the game. Some people love it because it helps them on the market. Whatever. That's a debate for a different time. The fact is, you know, once you unlock one of these cards, that there's no reason to get a card any other cards at the same position. Like, I have Babe Ruth unlocked. I don't need to get another left fielder for the rest of the year. I have Mike Piazza unlocked. I don't need another catcher. Griffey, I don't need another center fielder. Pujols, you know, you get what I'm saying. I literally have the best at every position once I get the immortals that I want. So this is where it comes into play. Like, you know, Mike Piazza is theoretically the best catcher in the game, but then if you go over here to rank seasons, if you get to World Series, you're gonna unlock 95 overall Joe Mauer. Now, by no means is this Joe Mauer a bad card. He's actually a pretty solid catcher. He's got good defense, really good contact against both sides. The power's a little bit lower than I feel like we could have made it, but either way, you have to get all the way to a 900 rating to get this card. And I know a lot of like the top players in the game are gonna say like, oh, getting a 900 doesn't mean anything anymore, it doesn't mean you're good. That's not the point. The point is that the average player getting to 900 it's gonna be a tough task for them, especially if they've never gotten there before. And when they actually get there, they're rewarded with a 95 overall card. Getting the World Series is a very tough task, and getting this card compared to just playing the computer and getting Mike Piazza after just grinding the computer, listening to music, kicking back, it's not an equivalent reward. And the same thing with Battle Royale. There are some good 12-0 Battle Royale rewards. Luis Tiant's really good, Acuna's really good, Ichiro, like attribute-wise, is really good. He doesn't have power, which kind of sucks. The 92 Miggy's really good. But then we see a card like this Yogi Berra is a flawless reward in Battle Royale. You're telling me that if you go 12-0, one of the hardest things to do in MLB The Show for the average player, going 12-0 will get you this card? A card that has no power, only 2 stats over 100, with contact barely being over, and then vision at 125. He's got good defense, don't get me wrong. He doesn't have speed. Like, this is not a 12-0 card. This card, to me, this blows my mind that this is a flawless reward, when you can literally play the computer having no competitive drive will get you the Mike Piazza. The online rewards for the tough tasks have to have strong value. You can't have cards like this be a 12-0 reward. You can't have Joe Mauer be a ranked season reward when he's worse than a player you can get just by grinding against the computer. And one thing I want to make sure you guys know, just in case you don't, is there is a massive amount of people that play this game and never touch online. They'll play Diamond Dynasty, they'll do these programs, and they will go ahead and get themselves these immortals or whatever, and they will still never touch a second of online gameplay. There's a huge just single player Diamond Dynasty community out there, and it's totally okay to tailor missions towards that community. That's fine, but you can't alienate the online community. Literally, I don't even know how many immortals are, what, 13, 14, I don't know. The Stan Musial is the only card for the immortals that you actually need to play online to get. Like, you need to get his souvenirs. Everything else you can play against the computer, and if you just do that, you can get Ruth, Griffey, and Vlad. You don't even need Musial. There's just no online incentive this year. There's no reason to get to 900. I know a lot of the top players aren't even playing the show right now because there's just no reason for them to get to 900 rating, because like, they can just get the immortals by playing the computer. Like, they have the best team. Yeah, they're gonna still play the game and stuff, but they're not gonna be like, oh, I need to get to World Series to get this. You know, last year it was like 99 Ralph Kiner and stuff like that. Like, there's no reason. And like I said, I know not everybody is going to get all the immortals or even a couple immortals. There's going to be a large population of the players that don't even get an immortal. But the fact is, there isn't a point for a lot of these cards to be released when you know what the best card in the game is. Like, the Jason Giambi is now the event reward. Really strong card, don't get me wrong, but I'd still rather have Albert Pujols, and I don't have to play online to get Albert Pujols. It's just, that's the point I'm trying to get right here, is the rewards have to be balanced better than they are right now, because of right now, it's totally one-sided. You literally don't need to spend a second playing online in this game, and it sucks for me because I love playing online. But that's kind of the point I'm trying to make right here. I hope I made it clear enough. I hope I kind of gave you guys an idea of what I'm really talking about here. There are, of course, a couple other things that I would love to see in Diamond Dynasty. Like, number one, I would love to see like new packs every week, like the bases loaded from last week or last year. Those were great. Like, I really hope we get a more refreshing pack store next year. Also, souvenirs. I feel like souvenirs need to be reworked so that they have some actual in-game value. Like, let us wear the jerseys. There's no point for the souvenirs other than the exchanges. Like, you know, let us wear the cosmetics. Autographs, get those out. Those are so stupid. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I want to see in MLB The Show next year. I think if you add these features, these are things that the community definitely wants to see. I think if you add these, you kind of help regain the community's trust, because a lot of people feel like San Diego Studios doesn't listen, when I can tell you they 100% listen. You know, like this, it would just, adding things like this would make the community a lot less there would be a lot less tension, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it, but do you kind of get what I'm saying? I think these features would help Diamond Dynasty quite a bit for MLB The Show 19, and yeah, that's pretty much my wish list. So down in the comments, let me know, guys, what features you want to see in Diamond Dynasty next year that I didn't cover in this video. If you have anything you want to add on to what I said in this video, type it down there. Let's make kind of a discussion down there. I'll be there replying to people and seeing your guys' opinions and stuff like that. So yeah, just sound off, go. But anyway, if you guys liked the video or you're excited for MLB The Show 19 for Diamond Dynasty to start fresh, drop a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all the MLB The Show stuff you want to see, and guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.